Okay, hi Roberta, welcome back.
Hi, I'm happy to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Last time you were on the audio podcast, and we spent a lot of time talking about your acting career and little time talking about your book. So I wanted to have you back so everybody could see your lovely face,
Thank
and
you.
we'll talk about Amelia Earhart. Now, I noticed on your bio that you've got more than one Amelia book, right?
No, uh this is the first and only as of now, but I have done revisions of it. So in a sense, you could say there's three because during the pandemic, which we all thought would just be 2 months at the time, I thought, oh, well, I'll just revise the book and make it finally exactly how I really feel it's it would make it, it's what I want. And so I did the last revision, and I'm putting it to bed. I'm not going to revise it anymore or make any new additions on it. And this one has a timeline of her life. And I thought what would be interesting to people, not just the things that are known generally, like her achievements in aviation, but her personal life. Um, I I think people, at least I do, I find the person's personal life actually more fascinating and interesting, and reading between the lines of what happened that year and seeing what happened the next year. So that was another revision I made in this latest edition, and a few other little tweaks here and there that I wanted to improve upon, or I thought the reader would find interesting.
And you also do a one woman show as Amelia Earhart?
Right. And that's how this all started. I
Okay.
wrote a full length one person show, and I wrote it and I perform as Amelia. And I would take afterwards, I take Q&A, which was, that is actually the most fun part because I have a Q&A with the audience, and also the audience contributes the information, and people sort of come out of the walls that you don't know that either had, believe it or not, an interaction with her, or their parents did, or they were at a landing site when she ended a famous flight. And so that's real fascinating, and facts that they, are curious about, or theories. So that's actually fun. Yeah. So I've been doing the play um, for over 20 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
at all kinds of venues and events and universities and women's groups and um, stage houses, playhouses. So yeah, but the book came out of that at the end of the last few years because people kept asking me, when are you going to write a book? And I said, oh, there's too many books, too many books. There's so many on Amelia Earhart. But finally, I had all this information in my head, and I was exploding with it, and I just felt like I had to start writing, and I did, and it was a journal of sorts, which related to her quotations and then life events that happened to me. And I would think of her words and put them together. And it was just to help myself and help me think through things. And then I thought, well, this is really helpful to me when I have an event or a situation. I'm It might be helpful to other people if they know about this famous person, they learn about her and her quotations, and that she went through things that might relate to their lives, or just actually simple aspects, or just any kind of event. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to put this into a book format, and I made it a pictorial history and a journal for the reader, where I have what's called Dear Reader pages. And those pages allow the reader to delve into their personal situation. And I have questions like, what is your passion after the area in the book, the that part of the book starts. I'm writing about her passion for flying, how it developed, and my passion, and then pulling in the reader, or what I call our friends, to write maybe or think about, well, what is their passion in life, or what did they want to achieve in their life, or what have they maybe want to discover, what have they accomplished or want to further accomplish. So that's why I feel it's an interactive book.
Well, it also sounds like it's an interactive play, because originally when I was reading through your bio, I was getting a picture in my mind of Hal Holbrook doing Mark Twain, right? Which is probably one of the more famous renditions of somebody in a monologue kind of scenario. But yours is much more interactive with the audience, it sounds like.
I never really put that together, but you're exactly right. I always did think of Hal Holbrook doing Mark Twain, and this is me as Amelia Earhart. But then when I finish the play, I do then open it up for questions and answers, and I don't do it as Amelia. I do it as myself, the historian, the educator, the teacher, the listener. That is that aspect. There are two different aspects of the entire presentation or performance.
Oh, I see. So you come out of character at the end and do questions
Yes.
I see. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's talk just briefly about Amelia, because obviously it's still a mystery what happened to her. There's no real conclusive evidence as to what really happened. And
yes, it's still a cold case.
It's still a cold case. They never found her body. They never found her airplane. And what do you think happened?
Well, I try never to say what I think when I'm at a performance or a presentation. I really try to draw the audience out and see what their views are and what they've heard lately, and let them ask me, let them discuss it with me. But the general theory, the most accepted, and it's accepted by her family, was what's called the crash and sank theory. And that is that she was flying and she was at 1,000 feet and she was supposed to land on Howland Island, which is in the Pacific, of course. It's only 1.5 miles wide and 2 miles long and 18 inches high. Oh. And as a navigator who was interviewed to be her navigator said, if you don't hit Howland, you don't hit nothing. And because it's just so small. And so she was they know from the transmissions, she was in contact with the ship Itasca, which was supposed to hone her into Howland Island. And from those logs, we do know that she was within 100 miles of Howland Island. But she ran out of fuel. She had to have run out of fuel a half hour almost by calculation before she even was heard on the last transmission. So if she had the fuel, maybe some left, she was really limping along and she was circling and circling.
Okay, but if she had even landed on this tiny little island, was there fuel on that island?
That island was all set up to receive her. They had a bed on it. They had a place for her. They had everything was set up for her to land there. That was the scheduled landing where she was supposed to refuel and then go on to the last leg of her trip and be home by July 4th for whatever celebration. And they were aiming to have their book ready by Christmas for the Christmas sales.
She was
she
was trying to go around the world, or what was her itinerary? for this
All
trip?
right, the goal was to circumnavigate the world around on at the equator. And she wasn't solo. She had a navigator, Fred Noonan. And originally, she was supposed to have a full team. There was supposed to be two additional, let's see, was supposed to be two. Well, there was supposed to be a Fred Noonan, who was the navigator, and there was supposed to be a radio man who was the best in the business. And then she had a technical advisor also. And the technical advisor and the radio man had stepped out of the team when the plane, on her first attempt to circumnavigate the globe, she crashed on takeoff in Hawaii. And they could not stay with the project. So 2 months later, she retried again, for her next attempt, and she had only Fred Noonan, who was the best in the business as a navigator, but he knew nothing about radio communication. And that was the biggest problem on this flight, because she needed excellent radio. I mean, according to the experts, not me, but according to all experts that I researched and read, and we have the statements from them, she needed to have an expert radio man and all the equipment necessary to find her way to Howland Island.
We're kind of running down on time, but one more point I want to bring up. And you said that you've been doing this one-woman show for over 20 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, why Amelia? What got you interested in Amelia? Was there some particular thing that you read or something happened to you?
That's one of the biggest mysteries of this whole journey. I was at a group repertory theater here in California, wonderful group repertory theater, Lonnie Chapman Theater. And we were writing historical plays, the members, and I chose Amelia Earhart. And I don't know if I was drawn to her because I am interested in women's issues. I'm very interested. I was a history major at UCLA. I'm very interested in getting the facts right. And I started to research her, and I actually wrote this play, and I used all original materials from the Amelia Earhart Library in North Hollywood, California, and before the internet. And I just haven't lost interest. I do not know what it is exactly, but she fascinates me. She continues to fascinate me. I continue to find new information on her, and also the theories that come up, and what those theories, what they say, and the facts that may dispute them or not. And so I am shocked as much as anybody by this journey and where it's taken me, and my continual interest and fascination with her life and the elements that relate to modern day life, to our everyday life, which you find she was a fascinating person, but she was a fascinating person as a renowned person, but also just as a private individual. So yeah, we don't know why, but something grabs a hold, and that's what I talk about passion. I call it passion organic. You don't know why you are drawn to something or someone, or you just become passionately interested about a subject, or takes you on a career, or whatever you choose in life.
Well, you grab on and see where it takes you. Exactly. And it's taken you to a one-woman show for over 20 years and one book with 3 revisions, and doesn't sound like there's going to be any end in sight for this. We do have to wind this down. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
I would like to say that if people want to know more about me or the book, they can go to either contact me through my Facebook page or through Instagram. I am on Twitter, and also to the Internet Movie Database, where they can learn about other things I've done also. So the best way, and they can get the book on Amazon.com, or if they want an autographed copy, they can message me through Facebook or Instagram. Roberta Bassin.
That's great. Thank you, Roberta, so much for coming on the show again. It was nice to see
It's
you
been
this
so
time.
much fun.